So I'm sitting down to film this video and I'm like writing out a little outline and I'm realizing I have so much to say. I have had my face gone from the YouTubes for so long. I've just kind of been in my little hermit phase. And the truth is that I quit my job because I'm having a baby, which means that until I have the baby, I have way more energy just for like myself and the things that I want to do and the things that I really care about, which means that all the things that I've been like thinking about and working on for the last ever that I haven't had the energy or the time to share with you, I now have the energy and the time and the inspiration and the motivation to share with you. So I'm gonna try and make a lot of that happen, but I thought that we would start with a fun type of video that I have not done in literal years. I don't even know when the last one was. And that is a witchy favorites video. Who doesn't love a favorites video? And who doesn't love, what witch doesn't love a witchy favorites video? So yeah, if you're new to my channel and you've only seen all of my 1 million junk journaling videos, you might not have caught that I'm a witch and that this channel used to be primarily about witchcraft and magical practice. And the truth is, I don't really care about combining, like I don't care. It doesn't bother me to just like start making this largely a junk journaling crafty channel, because I've always felt like witching and crafting are very related. They're very tied together. There's a reason that we call it witchcraft. I think there's a lot of magic in making things. There's a lot of magic in the making, in the process of making, and there's a lot of magic in things that have been made with love and care and intention. And I think that you can appreciate that with or without being a witch, and I think that you can appreciate that with or without being a crafter or a maker of things. But you know, I'm existing in the overlap of those things, and I'm here to talk about it and to make magic about it and to make videos about it. So hi, I'm Vervain. I make things. Some of those things are magic. Some of those things are books and journals and paper crafts, and some of those things are food. And I'm gonna talk about a whole bunch of those things today. But I'm gonna try and stay pretty focused on just a couple of things in this witchy favorites video. This is gonna be a little different because I feel like in the past when I've done a witchy favorites video, it's been like, all right, let's talk about oracle decks, let's talk about tarot decks, let's talk about crystals, let's talk about my favorite tea right now, let's talk about my favorite, all these different categories of things. And I have 3 categories of things that I wanna talk about today, and I'm gonna limit myself to just that. And those things are cards, plant magic, and this is the big one, magical practices, which is a very umbrella-y category that contains many things, but it didn't feel like, well, I don't know, that's just what I wanted to share with you. So that's how we're gonna do it, guys. You're along for the ride or you're not. I've just realized I've sat down without my water. Have a little patience with me while I go get it. Have just a little bit of patience with me, darling. Roses never grew overnight. Have just a little bit of patience with me. Give me just a little bit of time to get it right. That's one of mine. Not that it's out, not that there's anywhere that you can listen to it. That's one of my songs, and it's called Patience. Which brings me also to mention, I put an album out while I was not on YouTube this past year. And I thought you might like to know about that. It's called Wildflowers by Vervain and the Roses, and you can listen to it on pretty much any platform. All the regular places that you listen to regular music, you can find my album there. And I made some really cool collage art for the cover of the album. and it has 10 songs on it. I wrote them all, I sang them all, I played guitar for them all, and I think they sound pretty all right. So, wow, I'm really selling it, aren't I? Okay, anyhow, you should go listen to my album. In fact, you can even put it on in the background while we talk and hang out. And maybe you should grab some water or some tea while you're at it. Lime sparkling water. I know there's probably like better choices. Like I could just have still water. But if lime sparkling water makes me drink more water, that's what I really need. And it does. Okay, so cards. Let's talk about cards first, which has always been one of my very favorite categories. It's so hard for me to pick favorite cards, and you'll learn that today because I've brought 4 decks, and the 4th one is barely even a real deck. I have so much to share with you. I'm gonna make a whole video just about this, but not right this second. So I have brought 4 decks to share with you. 3 of them are in boxes, and 1 of them is in this basket. And 2 of them are oldies but goodies, and 1 of them is new to me. And we'll start with the oldies but goodies because I've probably talked about them a million times, even if it was like on Instagram or whatever. So I'll try not to spend too long on them. But these are, I just moved recently, and you know, when you're moving, you've got to pack everything up, but there's always things that you're like, I can't just put this in a box. I need access to this potentially every day. And these 2 in the basket case, the other one is new to me, so that wasn't in the running. But these 2 were 2 that I would not pack away. I was like, nope, these can just stay like in my purse or near my purse or whatever, or in my other basket that sometimes acts as a purse, because I love them so much and I trust them deeply. They always come through. And the wisdom of the Oracle. So I used to not really take Oracle decks very seriously. I feel like a lot of Oracle decks do kind of have the pitfall of like, they're kind of a one-trick pony or like a one-song, one-hit wonder. Like they just kind of say the same thing in different ways, and if like that thing is not what you need to hear right now, then that deck might not hit you right. I find that some Oracle decks tend to fall into the like, everything is love and light, we're not actually very helpful unless that's the only thing that you need right now. Category or pitfall or whatever. And so I used to be very skeptical of like Oracle decks in general. Since then, I have found that there are some Oracle decks that I actually quite like and trust. But this one just, I don't know, man. And when I first bought it, I was like, I kind of like the art, but it didn't really give me the vibe of like, this is gonna be a great deck. It was like on super sale. It was on this Hay House $7 deck sale. And I was like, it's $7. And you know, I had a job at the time. I had disposable income and I could spend it on decks whenever I wanted pretty much. So I was like, yeah, let's order 15 decks from the Hay House $7 deck sale. Let's do it, let's go. And this one has just turned out to be one of my best friends, I feel like. Best friends with some pieces of paper. That's me. Same thing with the journaling. Best friends with pieces of paper. That's what we do here. This channel really is all about me loving pieces of paper, whether it's tarot cards or journal pages or other things. I can't think of any other examples. I will show you some cards in this deck. This is called Wisdom of the Oracle. It's by Colette Baron Reed. This deck, it just always, you know, like if you're just browsing the cards, blessed, I feel like you might not think that there's like a whole lot of depth here. They seem pretty, I don't know, like, I don't know, shallow, not like they wouldn't be very helpful. And yet, every time I pull one, it knows just exactly what to fucking tell me. It just knows. I can't, and so when I need a like direct answer and I need to be told, you know, not in like a mean way, but like I need to be told what's up in a way that like tarot cards are really great for a lot of things, and they will speak in metaphors and they will hint at things. This deck always finds the exact language that I need, and the book for it is really good. It's quite a thick boy. It just always knows what to say. And I actually bought a second copy of this to add, not all of, but I added probably like half of it to my basket case, which we'll talk about in a bit. And then I think I ended up with triples of some cards because before I bought it, I had traded for some cards with other people when I got into the Alley Man Tarot and the Alley Facebook group. So anyhow, that's all. I said I was going to try and keep it a little bit short, so that's all I'm going to say about Wisdom of the Oracle. I am going to talk now about the Muse Tarot. One of the great things about this is the original like Kickstarter edition, which I really love, and it has these beautiful coral edges, but it is mass market with Hay House now. There's the number and signature. But it is mass market with Hay House now. It doesn't come, you can't get the big book anymore. It only comes with the little book. But here's the great thing. Even if you don't have the deck, you can go to themusetarot.com and you can pull a card randomly through the website, and everything that is in the big beautiful guidebook that I have but didn't bring with me is on that website, and more, because she also created like audio meditations to go with every single card, and those are all on the website, themusetarot.com. This one is really great. It's specifically for creatives, and it's specifically for working with creative energy, and it's just fucking gorgeous. Look at that. It's like beautiful digital collage art, roses on the back, and that's the other thing. So the suit of what would be pentacles is materials, and it's all represented by roses. So that was a big sign for me when I first saw that this was being made, that like it was for me, I needed it. And then this was my card that I drew that inspired my word of the year, Overflow, the Ace of Emotions, which is the Muse Tarot's version of the Ace of Cups. So it's all creative inspiration themed. So Cups is emotions, Pentacles is materials, Swords is voices, and I think Wands is inspiration, but it's not showing me any wands right now. Yes, 6 of inspiration here. So the Wands is inspiration. And then there's also, so instead of kings, there's muses. So here's the Muse of Inspiration, and those are sideways. And then there's a 79th card called the Muse of I Am, which just happened to be the card at the bottom of the deck there. So I just think this is the most gorgeous. Obviously I do turn to this for really important things. Like I said, it gave me my word of the year. It really led me towards Overflow, which I'm so grateful for because it just feels so right for me. I'm so pleased with that choice. I have talked about, last year I did like a separate word of the year vlog. I'm probably not gonna do that this year because I did talk about it in at least one of my Junk Journal January videos. So if you're interested, you can check out, actually I did like a whole chat about arriving at the word overflow in one of my making the fairy tale junk journal videos. And then I did a whole chat about like, kind of a shorter chat about like why I picked it in one of my Junk Journal January videos. So I'll try and remember to link those down below. If not, they're probably not too hard to find. I think I probably put like Word of the Year vlog somewhere in the title of those. But yeah, I think this is really, really beautiful. If you have the deck and you don't have the big book, you can use the website as the big book, and I really recommend doing it. She's got beautiful poetry for every card, and she puts so much. It's by Chris Ann, that's all she goes by. But yeah, themusetarot.com, and even if you don't have the deck, like I said, just go to themusetarot.com and try it. And that's actually when I traveled. So I actually did just end up buying the app for this deck because I was like, I would like to have this with me at all times. It's that powerful. It's that good for me. And it was like a $10 app. So I paid like whatever I paid for the deck. I paid more for the app than I paid for the deck. Because I got the deck on super sale. But highly recommend both of those. Yes. Okay. So the new one I got, which I don't think is available anymore, sorry. I just got this off Kickstarter, and this is the second edition. So who knows, she might do another edition. And I don't know, it might be available. I did an unboxing of this, and I linked the Kickstarter in the description of that unboxing. So maybe I'll remember to link it again below. But you can find out more about it there. Like I said, there's a whole unboxing video. If you want to learn all about the deck, you can learn about it here. But I've been working with Venus a lot this past year. She kind of came to me in 2023, and the first card that I pulled from this deck was the Ace of Cups. So that was another sign that it was like, yeah, we're on the right track with this. I had already chosen Overflow, but it just felt like not only was Overflow like the right word for me and was that the right vibe for me this year, but also it just felt like this deck and I were for sure like already connected and set to do good work together. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you a couple of these cards here. And I think it's really, really beautiful. It's all very like old classical paintings that are out of copyright in the public domain that have been put in this lovely frame. And the book is pretty all right, but I think it's just really gorgeous, and it really has the energy of Venus / Aphrodite, which is an energy that I've been working with very heavily. I feel like the energy of love has, of course, always been deeply important to me, especially as a singer-songwriter who writes mostly love songs. But also, like, as an artist, as somebody who creates beauty, like, this is something that I wrote in, here's my Overflow journal. We'll talk about this later. But this is something that I wrote just the other day in the beginning of my journal. It was a quote that I found. I'm going to make everything around me beautiful, and that will be my life. Elsie DeWolf. And that just feels like, that feels right. That feels like what I want to do. I want to just create beauty everywhere. I am here to fill the world with beauty, love, and magic, something. It's been too long since I said my mission statement. My mission statement is not on my wall right now. I don't even know where it is. It's somewhere in the boxes of art that we've been working on from the move. And I will talk more about art and things later when we get to favorite magical practices. But those are 3 of my 4 favorite decks at the moment. And I have to talk about the 4th one because the basket case has changed my fucking life. Changed my fucking life. So what this is as a collector of cards, as a card addict, let's say, excuse me, I have collected what some might consider to be too many decks of cards. Which is to say, I got to a point where I had decks of cards that there was a thing or two that I loved about them, but I didn't love them enough to reach for them or to use them. It may be that like what I was saying about Oracle decks earlier, where like sometimes an Oracle like a specific oracle deck, it carries a specific energy, and sometimes that specific energy is what you need. But I feel like we as humans, with our fallibility and our blind spots, are not always equipped to know what energy we need in a divination. We can tend to choose what's comfortable rather than what we need or what's good for us. And like the whole reason that we turn to divination is because we need guidance. We don't know what we need, or maybe we do know what we need and we just need to hear it from an outside source. But there's another danger. Maybe you do know what you need and you don't want to hear it and you don't want to admit it. So you're going to choose the oracle deck that's going to hold your hand and comfort you and say, oh, it's all love and light, it's all good, instead of the oracle deck that's going to be like, you know what you need to fucking do? You need to get your fucking shit together, so go do it. And so all of these oracle decks, and sometimes tarot decks as well, that maybe I love their art, or there are certain cards in them that really resonate, or I've had one or two good readings with them that really spoke to me, but I just, either I don't trust them to speak to me in different situations where I don't know what I need, or I don't trust myself to know when that's the energy that I need. Like I always feel safe going for a Rider-Waite. I feel like a Rider-Waite can always tell me what I need to hear. But there are other, there are some decks that I just don't know if it can always tell me what I need to hear. So I broke my decks up, and I was given permission to do this by the existence of the Alleyman Tarot and the Alley, which is a Facebook group dedicated to the Alleyman Tarot and to trading tarot cards, and now oracle cards and all sorts of cards. And so I got really into that for a while. I broke up my decks. I started building some custom decks around particular themes, which I don't know if I'll ever finish. So I'm gonna have to revisit that this year and decide what I'm gonna add back to the basket case and what decks I'm gonna try and finish building. We'll see. So this is a hodgepodge of my favorite cards from certain decks that I owned and liked but didn't use, cards that I traded for from other people. So like some of these, like this one, like I don't even know what deck this is from. I traded for this card and a card called Gun Girl from a person far away. This is what the back looks like. I don't know what deck it's from, but I liked those cards. I felt like those cards spoke to me. And so every card in this basket is a card from various different decks that speaks to me in one way or another. And now I have started also the practice of, well, I don't know if I would say started the practice, but occasionally I have just dumped an entire deck in here. So like somebody sent me this deck that I've actually had wanted for a long time, which is the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle. And I didn't even go through it. I just dumped the whole thing into the basket case. And I already had a couple cards from that deck that I had gotten in a trade. And then like this deck I bought for the basket case, and then I went through anything that I felt like resonated with me, I put in the basket case, and then anything that didn't, I put in my trade pile, and I traded away a lot of cards. And this deck always knows what's up. And I call it the basket case deck because the case is a basket, but also because it's a little wild. It's a little bit of a loose cannon. It might say, eat your fucking vegetables, or it might say, money boy, or it might say, Yemaya, release, and I don't have the guidebooks for most of these. And so you're left to interpret it intuitively. And it's a really great practice and a really great exercise. And I built this originally to be just for me, for my personal practice, for reading for myself. And then not very long afterwards, I realized, like, I had done readings for a couple of friends with it or whatever, and I was like, actually, this is just a really good deck. I'm gonna do readings for other people with it. So now also my primary reading offering on my website is basket case readings. So you can order a 1, 2, or 3 card basket case reading from me, and I will sit down and you like type in your question and stuff in the form. You place your order. I get it in my email. I sit down. I smoke cleanse my basket case. I sit with your situation or your question. I formulate it into specific empowering questions for the number of cards that you have, and pull the cards. I send you an audio recording of the whole process and pictures of the cards that we get. And if there's any like jumpers, or like you get like I pull a card and 2 come up, like you get that included, right? And everyone who's had a reading with the basket case has like, they get it. They understand, they see, this is whatever's going on in here is magic. This deck knows what's up. And it's got so many different energies in it. Oh, here, the morning. It's got so many different energies in it. You never know what you're gonna get. Here's another Wisdom of the Oracle card. You never know what you're gonna get. Card from the Bonefire Tarot. And yeah, it's just magic. So we'll come back to that in a bit when I talk about my favorite magical practices lately. But I also want to real quick talk about my favorite plant magic, and I'll try and keep this one pretty short. I have also recently, so most of the plant magic that I work with is oils, not all of it. I love to cook. I use a lot of plant magic with that, although I use a lot of oils when I cook as well. And I have been growing some things, and it occurred to me this morning that both of the things, well, I guess I also have a rosemary plant, which is unrelated kind of and separate. But both of the things that I've been growing in my front garden bed at Climbing Rose Cottage, which is the name of my new home, are Venusian in their own way, which is to say, we have my climbing roses, my Strawberry Hill climbing roses, which bloomed one bloom in December, one beautiful bloom at the beginning of December, and then have just been, doing their winter thing since then. But feeling good about that. And then for my birthday, one of my friends brought a ton of oyster mushroom mycelium blocks with the intent to remediate the soil in my rose bed. It had been full of like plastic mulch, and like nothing was like, literally when I went to pull out the plastic mulch and I was really like digging through the whole bed, I found not a single earthworm, and like the whole lawn is covered in worm castings. So I know there's earthworms around, but there weren't any in the garden bed. So I was like, the soil is not healthy and happy. And anything that we can do about that would be great. So they brought me a bunch of oyster mushroom mycelium blocks. I put them all over the rose bed. And then just this past week, I harvested 3.5 pounds of gray oyster mushrooms. And it occurs to me that if a mushroom is gonna be, like if Venus is gonna be associated with a mushroom, it's gonna be the oyster mushroom, right? Like, I don't know if there's really room for argument on that. And it's in my rose bed. And so I feel like, I don't know. And Venus, if those of you who don't know, this is something that I found out that I thought was very interesting, because we think of her and Aphrodite as like ocean goddess. Venus was originally like a garden goddess, a woodland goddess. I think she was associated with the hunt. She was associated with the wilderness. But she's associated specifically with kitchen gardens. And there's like, she has like a whole feast day that has to do with like dedicating kitchen gardens to her and giving like gardeners and cooks the day off or something like that. It's called the Vinalia Rustica, and I celebrated it last year and it was great. I made pasta fresca with scallops, I think. I don't remember what I did. And I don't remember what I did. We had wine, we had rosé. It was great. So I guess I've been doing some gardening, and I can call that plant magic. And we've got lots of oyster mushrooms and some hopefully pretty happy rose plants. So that's all happening, and that is some of my favorite plant magic right now. So I feel good sharing that with you. But the rest of the plant magic that I'm going to share is in the form of oils, and I do also want to mention, this seems like a good time to mention it, that I have recently finished and released my first ever text class. It's called Oil Magic 101, and I'm offering this once per season. I just did the January one, and the next one will be in April. I'm offering this once per season as a live Zoom class, and that's available to anyone, anywhere in the world. The text class is only available, it's sent via text message, so it's only available to phone numbers based in the US. I don't know, like if you had like a WhatsApp phone number in the US, I don't know how WhatsApp works. So I don't know if maybe you could sign up with like a WhatsApp number. Like I said, I don't know how that works. You're welcome to try. But it's a text class. It's called Oil Magic 101, and it's a 14-day class, and I just send out, it's not so much about like what specific oils are good for what, although we can talk about that. You can message me through the text class. Like the lessons are sent out automatically by a robot I fed lessons to the robot, and now the robot spits them out at specific times, which is cool. But if you like message me back with questions or whatever, I can message you back as a real human in real time. So there's that. But the actual content of the class is more about like ways to weave oils and magic together. And it does include like sample recipes and sample spells and stuff, but it's more about like, here's how you can use oils in candle magic. Here's how you can use oils in kitchen witchery. Here's how you can use oils in charm bags. Here's how to create a synergy spell. Here's how to create a roller bottle. Here's how to create a diffuser blend. Here's how to do all these things. So if you're curious about the intersection of essential oils and witchcraft, I think starting with my Oil Magic 101 text class is a great place to start. It's totally free. And yeah, all you need is a USA-based phone number, and all you have to do, and I'll put this in the description as well, is just text the two words Oil Magic to the number 737-35-MAGIC, which is also 737-356-2442. And then you'll be signed up. So anyhow, if you're curious, do that. Also, I have a book called Essential Oil Magic, Natural Spells for the Green Witch by Vervain Hill's Daughter. I wrote it. You can check it out, link in the description. But here's the plant magic that I have been digging the most lately. If you've been around for a while, you're probably already gonna know about this. Focus Pocus, that's what I call this combo. It's rosemary and kid power. Kid power smells like an orange creamsicle. It's like orange, vanilla, blue tansy, some other stuff. Literally smells like a dreamsicle. Rosemary, great for memory, great for focus. Kid power, great for like doing hard things, focusing creative energy, calling up your willpower. One day, the gods of inspiration blessed me with the idea to combine them. And my life has never been the same since. This is really like low and rich and creamy. And then this is really like, the rosemary is this really like top notey, sharper, piercing, herbal. They smell really good together. But more importantly, they legitimately help me focus. I put this in the diffuser, and you know, I go back and forth about, I think in a roller bottle, you do want about twice as much kid power as rosemary. I think in a diffuser, you can go about 1-to-1. I don't have my roller of it here. I can't find my roller of it. I lost it in the move. It was one of the last things I packed specifically because I was like, can't lose this. Gotta always know where it is. And you know how that goes. Haven't seen it since. But thankfully I have my rosemary and my Kid Power. So I haven't been rolling it on because I just want my old roller bottle back. But I will like put it in my hair sometimes and let my hair act as a passive diffuser. And then I'm still like carrying it around with me all day. Or like on my shirt if I'm wearing a dark color. I wouldn't do it on my white dress. And then putting it in the diffuser when I've been, this was like, I don't think I would have written my Oil Magic 101 class without this blend. This was instrumental. I made a ritual of it. I would power hour from like 10 to 12 every weekday morning. I would, I'd take care of myself first, have my breakfast and everything, do some stretches, get my water. And then I would move to the couch in the living room and I would set up the Aria diffuser playing its little guzheng music with the Focus Pocus blend. I did 5 drops of each in an Aria because an Aria is a hefty diffuser. And because I needed it. And just set it going and focus for 2 hours and knock it out. And most times I would finish my, like I would be able to knock out like 1 lesson a day with the written lesson and the graphic that goes with it. And then I'd usually have like an extra half an hour-ish even. Sometimes it took me an extra hour to do, but sometimes it only took me an hour and a half to do. And then I would have extra time to go back and like edit or revisit other lessons or to like write outlines for future lessons or to work on other related things before I moved on to the rest of my non-Oil Magic related day. Not to say that the whole day doesn't, not to say that I don't use Oil Magic off and on all day. I kind of do, but the rest of my day doesn't like revolve around Oil Magic. It was those power hours. So that blend I've been using a ton. Also, I'm always formulating new blends for energy cleansing. I feel like that's one of the primary things that I use oils for in my home, especially in diffusers. Because I feel like that's the best thing you can use a diffuser for. Like you can use a diffuser to set any kind of mood or energy, but it's just really, really good for clearing the energy, getting a fresh start in a space, making a space feel fresh and new and fun and great and beautiful. And this is the blend that I've put together recently to have going in our guest bathroom. And I'm about to go start it after this video because my aunt's coming over later today and I want it to smell nice for her. And so we've got citronella, lime, and sage. So the citronella and the lime are both really like bright, uplifting, and they are energy cleansing smells. And I mean, who doesn't love lime? Lime is just one of my favorites. It smells so good. And all the citruses are really, really affordable too, which is nice. And then citronella is a type of lemongrass. All the lemongrasses are really good for energy cleansing and for purification, that sort of thing. And for not just energy cleansing, but for like specifically like smell cleansing. Like if you want something that smells not so nice to smell nicer, all the lemongrasses are good for that. And citronella was the one that I grabbed when I was putting this blend together. And then sage, because those two are really like bright and sharp. Sage is a much like earthier, herbal, kind of lower note, and really serves to like ground this whole combination. And you know, sage, we witches love to use sage for blessing and cleansing space. I feel like sage gets tossed around a lot as an energy cleanser. I feel like it's a little more of an energy blesser, like a bringing good vibes rather than clearing out intense bad vibes. But I feel like all three of these together do a really nice job. And yeah, so I've just been really enjoying, I've been doing like 3 lime, 3 citronella, 2 sage, or 4 lime, 4 citronella, 3 sage, just depending on how much help the room needs and how strong I want it to go. So those are the diffuser blends that I've been really into lately. I made a perfume roller finally because I went through so many bottles of frankincense and vanilla, just carrying them around in my purse separately and just like daubing on the frankincense, daubing on the vanilla. And I was just going through like 5 drops of each at a time, once or twice per day. I was using a lot of these oils because guys, one, a body, I think, cannot have enough frankincense. Like, frankincense has so many benefits. It's so good for you. And it smells so good. And it's not always my favorite smell on its own, but with vanilla, there's nothing like it. It's even good in coffee. I don't put the vanilla oil in coffee. The vanilla oleo resin is not a vitality oil from Young Living, and so it's not approved for internal consumption. It's not designed for internal consumption. You don't need it for internal consumption. So if I'm making like an iced coffee and I want frankincense and vanilla, if I'm making like multiple servings, I'll do a drop of frankincense, or if I'm just making it for me, I might do a drop of frankincense if I'm using a lot of cream, or I'll do like a couple toothpick swirls of frankincense to get a little less than a drop. And then I'll use like a dropper full of vanilla extract, and then cream, and then some maple syrup, and some iced coffee. Oh yes, and this one, so when I made the roller, I did all the frankincense and the vanilla, about half and half, and then I topped it off with just a couple drops of rose, and it was pretty much the last of my rose. So I'm like holding this out to you so you can smell it, but you can't smell it, sorry. Just imagine, frankincense, vanilla, and rose. Give that a sniff. It's so good. And so this is like, I mean, my instinct was to say there's no like magical purpose to this. This is just a perfume. But I think that, especially as somebody who's been working more and more with Venus and Venusian energies and the energies of like love and beauty and art, that there is a magical aspect to just wanting to smell good and feel beautiful. And of course, rose. And I think, yeah, I mean, you can look up like what those are all good for individually and think about what all that might mean. Okay, 2 more pieces of plant magic. I'll be so fast. I'm gonna be so fast. I really want this whole video to be less than an hour, and we're already at 42 minutes, but I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Okay, water. I'm like out of water. Okay, this just came the other day. I've used a bunch of different Young Living lotions. I love the Genesis one. My husband loves the Winter Nights one. They're both great, but mostly I couldn't find the Genesis one, and also just the lavender. Like lavender specifically, I know is really good for healing skin issues. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but whoops. And it's fucking winter, and my hands, the back of my hands, have been so dry. I'm gonna put some on now, actually. This literally just dried last night, so I'm still recovering. But I can tell the difference already since starting to use this. Like all the lotions that Young Living makes are really good and clean, and you know, they don't have any of the toxic nasties. That's part of why I love Young Living. And you know, they're hydrating for your skin and all that good stuff. But the lavender one, I can tell, like, I know based on the ingredients list, which I didn't even know the whole ingredients list, I just knew it was lavender based, that it's like extra good for rehydrating and healing your skin. Just making your skin happier, I guess is probably what I should say. But I also feel the difference letting it soak into my skin. Like, my skin has been so much happier today than any of the past recent days, just since I applied this like literally once last night. So I'm considering this to be like a miracle product. And when I smelled it, I was kind of surprised because I really expected it to just smell like lavender. And the lavender is in it, and it is the first essential oil in here, but it's not overwhelming. And I feel like the first impression that I get isn't of any particular oil. It's just of like, this smells nice and gentle. So it's got lavender, sandalwood, lemon, rosemary, davana, and myrrh. So all of those are good for your skin in different ways, and that's just the essential oils. That doesn't include all of the other plant extracts, carrier oils, and other things that are in here. So it smells really nice. It's not overwhelmingly lavender, and I can just tell it is so good for my skin. So my skin is very happy about that, and I wanted to share that with you. And I will also, I do run a thing called Oil Coven, which is my Young Living team, where we share all sorts of resources and knowledge and information about Young Living plant magic and non-Young Living plant magic. We also have fun events like online moon circles, and like the Oil Magic 101 Zoom class that I do, that's public, that's for everybody once every 3 months. And then the other 2 months of every season, I do a thing called Potions Club, which is just for Oil Coven members. And we get together and we talk a little more in depth about the same sorts of things that we talk about in Oil Magic 101. But we can go more in depth, and where Oil Magic 101 is kind of like me lecturing on like, let me just as fast as I can cover as much content as I can for people who are totally new to this. Potions Club is more like, hey, we all know a little bit about oil magic, plant magic, etc. What has been working for us lately? What questions have been coming up for us lately? And so we're both sharing, like everyone who comes gets to share what we've been doing. And also like if we have questions, maybe somebody else knows the answer, or maybe we can all like use our resources together to find answers or suggestions or ideas during Potions Club. So there's all sorts of resources like that for members. And all you have to do to get in on that is just make your Young Living purchase through my affiliate link, which I will put in the description below. Using my affiliate link has no extra cost to you. Like even if you sign up without a referral number, they're just gonna randomly place you under someone, and like I call it like signing up, and that's what it is, but it's just making a purchase and creating an account. But when you make a purchase and create an account, if you don't put a referral number, Young Living will just assign you randomly to someone in your area who you may or may not get along with. They may or may not even really like do the business or care about you or reach out to you. So if you want to be on a cool team full of cool witchy people, then Oil Coven might be the place for you. We have lots of cool resources and lots of cool vibes. So yeah, check out my referral link. If you join through my referral link, you get into Oil Coven. This last piece of plant magic is something that I made during my first pregnancy, and I did miscarry my first pregnancy. But I used this a ton then for like morning sickness and stuff. And then fortunately, when my second pregnancy hit, because man, when my second pregnancy hit, one thing that they say is that like, if your second pregnancy, if you're having like really bad morning sickness and you had a previous pregnancy where your symptoms weren't that severe and you miscarried, your really bad morning sickness can be like a sign that your current pregnancy is like viable and is good and is going to work out. Like not having bad morning sickness doesn't mean that your pregnancy is not going to work out. But if you've had a pregnancy that didn't work out where your symptoms weren't very severe, and now you're having another pregnancy where your symptoms are very severe, it's probably a sign of a healthy pregnancy. And so far, that seems to be the case. I'm 6 months now, or so, somewhere in there. And I was hit so hard with morning sickness and with fatigue, all of those things, that I don't think I would have had the energy to make this for myself in my first trimester of my current pregnancy. So I was so glad that I still had it around from my first pregnancy. And this is actually a refill. Right after I hit the second trimester, I made another batch of it and refilled it because I had gone through the whole thing. Oh, it smells so good. And this is basically just like a belly balm. I use it on my back as well though. It's also great for getting my husband to give me massages. I'm like, please peppermint me, I'm pregnant, I'm in pain, which is true. And then he's like, I would love to do that. And here's the product. Anyhow, so this is like, it's like coconut oil, argan oil, beeswax to thicken it up, probably some other stuff, probably jojoba oil. I don't know what else I would have put in there. Like this is the recipe from the first time, and I changed up a little bit the second time. So it's a lot of peppermint essential oil, which is really great for a lot of things related to the first trimester. digestion, discomfort, all sorts of things. And then copaiba, which is both really good for discomfort and just like chilling out. And it's also good for, it has this power to, like, it helps other oils get through to you better. So it kind of, when you combine copaiba with other essential oils, it strengthens the effects that those other oils have on you without actually increasing your dosage of those other oils. It's also sometimes referred to as the CBD of essential oils, so you can look that up and find out more about that. And then because I was going into my second trimester and I'd heard a lot about it, I also added in this new batch a bunch of Gentle Baby, which is a Young Living blend that I think is kind of designed for like working, you know, for using on babies for various things. But it's also highly recommended for use during pregnancy for a lot of different things. And one of the things that came up that it was recommended for was for like stretch marks and stuff. So I'm not super worried about stretch marks. But like, anyhow, so anytime I have round ligament pain or digestive issues or lower back pain or hip pain or whatever, this balm is going on my body and it has been a lifesaver. So I haven't been using it nearly as much in the second trimester as I did in the first trimester, but I've still been using it at least every week, and it's been really helpful to have around. I don't know if this video is gonna be less than an hour. We're at 51 minutes. But we only have the last category, which is the biggest category, left. So maybe I should call this the end and make a part 2. That's what I'm gonna do. So thank you so much for joining me to talk about my favorite cards lately and my favorite plant magic lately. And if you want to hear more about my favorite magical practices lately, some of which I promised earlier in the video that I would talk about later in the video, sorry, you only have to wait a little while, probably just a couple days, I will be sharing those magical practices with you in part 2 of this video, which will not be out the day that this video is out, but as soon as it is out, it'll be down in the description. Until then, you can subscribe and like and stuff. I don't even know which way this video is gonna face and where the subscribe button is gonna be, but I trust that you can find the subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra fancy, you can hit the bell. I think that's still a thing, to be notified when I release new videos, because otherwise I'm not convinced that subscribing actually does much of anything at all. So anyhow, that's that, and I'll be back in part 2 to talk about my favorite magical practices lately. I hope you have a wonderful magical day, and I'll see you again soon in my next video. Bye.